So, in this video, we will talk about literally what is the difference between a happy, fulfilled, and conscious life, and what separates it with a low fulfilling life. A life in which you barely find happiness and in which you feel that there is room for improvement and that you would have liked to achieve more fulfillment, more happiness, and more excitement. Today we will understand what is the difference that separates these two lifestyles. I will explain why do many people struggle with achieving this fulfilling, this happy lifestyle, which is in essence very easy to do, and what is the tool that will allow you to reach your goals, to undoubtedly experience this life easily, and be sure in the things that you're performing. So first of all, let us understand what are the characteristics of the happy life and what really separates a happy and less happy life. We're talking here about mindfulness. How mindful you are of the decisions, of the lifestyle that you have, because they ultimately will constitute your performance, your activities on a daily basis. Let me give you an example. So, for example, we are talking about a happy life. You will find yourself undoubtedly in a state, and I have to mention that a happy life is really general, is broad for many people, but I will try to make it clear in general so you can find yourself pretty aligned with the definitions that I give in this video, and you will try to adapt them to your lifestyle, and you could certainly be sure in it. When we are talking about the happy life, the most important, in my opinion, you can debate it, but of course there are more characteristics which do certainly align with a happy life and the tool which I will give you. But nevertheless, most of it, a happy life is based on yourself, on you being confident in who you are, in the actions you do, being sure that you are moving towards clear goals. You move with confidence towards a direction which will ultimately bring you sense of fulfillment, purpose. Another thing will be the relationship which you have in your life. Listening to your partner, to your family, understanding our differences, and ensuring a clear, a fulfilling communication with them. A communication in which you both, or in which you as a group, feel fulfilled, and your communication really represents the foundation, the building blocks of your happiness, and you find fulfillment with your dears, with your family, and so on and so forth. Another very also crucial thing that represents a happy lifestyle will be the decisions, how you cope with your problems, how you solve them. You are really ready to efficiently and easily solve the problems that arise, to concentrate on the main causes, to pinpoint the main causes of the problems, and to solve them in a way that you're sure in it. You know how to solve your problems, and you get this sense of confidence, of just easiness. You're sure how to solve the problem, and you are confident that the solution, the way you solve it, will lead you towards the result that you want. So this is a happy life. These are the characteristics that we want to achieve, right? So the low fulfilling lifestyle will not be deliberately influencing, deliberately acting in our lifestyle. It would be rather life happening to ourselves. Right? So what do I mean by this? We go to school, we go to university, we do the things in life not because we want to do them, not because we are sure that they will lead us towards a direction, towards fulfillment that we want to achieve, but because we've been told, because life happens to us, because we need to perform them. And ultimately, we do go to uni, we do go to school, we do find ourselves a job, not because we're sure, we're confident in our way of doing things on our path. We don't have the goals. We do them because life happens to us and because we are supposed to do them, right? Ultimately, we will not find happiness and fulfillment in these things. Another very crucial domain which will affect us and result in a low happiness lifestyle will be the relationship with our partner's parents. When you're happy, you, as I said, consciously understand, acknowledge the differences. You find pleasure in talking with the dears, and you just base your lifestyle on healthy and prosperous relationships. Whereas in a low happy lifestyle, a conflict, a misunderstanding will represent us being guided by our instincts, by our emotions. We will not choose to solve the conflict, to just behave with our dears in a way which is mindful, right? In a way which aligns with happiness, with a nice lifestyle. But we will dive into the instincts, into the emotions. We will be dumb. We will act dumb. Because I say this because I acted this myself. I will not be mindful of my emotions, of the emotions of my dears, but I will act in a sense, in a mode which will suppress the rational sense of me and just dive into the instincts. Try to behave based on instincts, on the things that I think that are true, rather than after analyzation, after objective assessment, them being true. Objectivity, pleasure, and happiness is found through mindfulness. Mindfulness represents the building blocks of us being confident in who we are, because mindfulness is basically awareness, being aware of the present moment, being aware of our situation, of who we are. Mindfulness is based on our intentions, being kind, understanding another people, and acknowledging their, not only their, but also our emotions. And attention. Mindfulness demands our full attention. We have to literally concentrate ourselves on what is happening, on what are we feeling, what are other people feeling, and take the best decision possible. So, undoubtedly, mindfulness is the building block of our success. Mindfulness represents the foundation of us being truthfully, being veritably able to listen to ourselves, to understand what is the best solution for our situation, how to make people feel seen and heard, and a really effective solution in order to find an effective answer to the problem that we are confronting. However, mindfulness is such a difficult tool to master. If you've correctly understood me, developing awareness, attention, and intention could take years to master. It is a hard task that will undoubtedly guarantee you the ability to interact with people, to truly listen to yourself and to understand yourself better. It will dramatically improve your life. However, it is really difficult to start from scratch. It is really difficult to adopt this healthy mindset. And what happens if through your life the difficulties will gradually increase? From your family, you will need to speak with the management, with the bosses. You will have to control yourself better. You will have to keep yourself from diving into the instincts, and the stressful situations will gradually rise. Therefore, you will have to adapt better to a more mindful life and to try to increase these qualities that you already have. So, we came to the solution. I will provide you with a really veritable tool that could undoubtedly fix the problems that you're confronting. In order to understand this tool, we will have to engage in a process of visualization. Try to understand what separates you now. Just take you now in a nutshell, your lifestyle, and so on and so forth, and the best version of yourself that you could possibly imagine. What am I talking about here? Try to imagine your ideal day. Why should you do this? In fact, I will explain in a second why should you do this, but this tool. Your ideal day based on the task you like doing, on the task you prefer doing, on an activity, on an occupation that could constitute your life, that you really like doing, that is in accordance with contributing to society. So, doing a thing, basing your life on an occupation, on a profession, or a particular set of activities that will contribute to society. Why this is important? Why do you want to do this? When you do a thing, when you base your life on an occupation which you like doing, so for example, politicians negotiating agreements, trying to find the best for their country, trying to find the best solution, undoubtedly it seems difficult. It seems very difficult to engage in such processes that require attention, that require debate, and so on and so forth. But this is the thing that they like doing. So for you, when you base your life on an occupation, on the task that you really like doing, that feels productive, it will really motivate you to perform better. It will motivate you to do the task again and again. So for example, going to university, trying to learn something, it feels productive, but it is not the thing that you like. It does not give you motivation. Whereas writing music, it feels productive, writing music for your audience and so on and so forth, and it gives you motivation. It gives you motivation to consistently learn how to write better music, to really excel in this domain, and to simply do the task that you are doing. So try to do an activity. We'll talk about this in a second, how to apply this concept. But try to find an activity which you like doing and which gives you motivation. Contributing to people. Why contributing to people? A thing, an occupation, which should contribute to people, to the benefit of the society, I would say. When we find a thing, an occupation which contributes to the society, it will give you utmost sense of purpose and fulfillment. It will motivate you to perform better, longer, and so on and so forth. Why? Because when you contribute to people, when your goal is bigger than yourself, and when you manage to contribute to the society, you will ultimately make the society a better place through your contribution. You will improve other person's life. Literally, your occupation that you're doing will improve other people's lives. And you will find utmost motivation when you do this, because you make their life better. Because at the end of the day, through your activities, you will be living in a better society based on your actions. This is a remarkable tool, really, because when you do something that you like doing, you just get motivation from it. And when you do an occupation in accordance with the benefit of the society, not only you do it for your pleasure, but you also improve the world in which you're living. So, we've determined this thing, but why this is useful for us? Again, try to walk through an ideal day. Try to base your ideal day on this thing. From the moment of you waking up, pay close attention to the precise details that will constitute your day. Who meets you, your family, in what house you wake up, and so on and so forth. Then you engage in this activity that you like doing and that contributes to the society. And try to really understand what did really consist this ideal day of yours. You've got fulfilled by doing the activity that you like. You are simply feeling happy and fulfilled. Your family met you. Just try to imagine the environment in which you will operate. Great. Now why did we do all these things? Now, you know what your best version of yourself looks like. I congratulate you. You've just imagined the goal towards which you should strive as a person, and by achieving it, you'll be the most happy version of yourself. This tool, which we now have in our hands, will not only allow us, of course, to set precise goals, to just move in a direction which we like, it will also allow us to adapt the problems to us and not to try to build mindfulness from scratch in order for us to adapt to problems. Why this is important? Because just take simple problems which you are confronting through your day, like again a low happy lifestyle. You have the problems which you're confronting, which may not be the problems which I mentioned, but for example, the relationship. Let's try to simply imagine us acting in a way which is aligned to our best self. How would we speak? How would we behave ourselves in accordance to our best version, to the person which we want to become? This tool will just instantly give you the vision, will just open your eyes when it comes to speaking with persons, when it comes to just interacting with people, because you will understand how would your best version perform and you will act in accordance with this. You will have no need to build mindfulness from scratch, but you will just behave instantly in a way which suits your personality and will give you answer to how should you behave when you're confronting the problems which you're confronting. Just take the problem which you're suffering from on a daily basis and understand how should you act in accordance with your best self. From there you will instantly act in a way that aligns with your dream personality. However, this heuristic approach will undoubtedly show the gaps in your character. what am I talking about here, really? You will sometimes understand that even though you were imagining your best self, the interactions didn't went the way you really envisioned. Why this is so? Because undoubtedly you can't perform, act instantly in accordance with a version that is 10, 15, 20 years apart from the person you're now. When you will try to act as the person which you will try to become as, you will find the gaps in your character. So for example, for me, I have this vision of a happy person, of a person that contributes to society, of a wise person that really constitutes my best self. And I was trying to, and the problem which I was confronting is persuasion. I was inclined to argue with people, to demonstrate to them, to bring arguments in favor of my position. After that, I was feeling exhausted. I thought that I knew what is best for people, when in fact I was feeling exhausted after a conversation and the people never really adopted my point of view. Then I envisioned, how will my best self deal with this problem? When I thought of this, I understood that there is no need to argue. There is no need, just my best self is not the person which will argue, which will bring the arguments, and which will exhaust himself in this discussion. What was really needed from me was truthful, was understanding of another people's feeling, was acknowledging another people's emotion. Try to learn their perspective, try to understand their position, and move towards truth, which is usually in the middle. I could learn mindfulness. I could meditate. I could cultivate awareness. Try to pay attention to the details which are at the base of our interaction. Try to just be aware of another person's feeling. Try to be aware of my feeling and so on and so forth. But it constitutes, it's the right thing to do, don't get me wrong, but it requires time and patience. Whereas with this tool, with the best version, I've just simply understood what is the cause, what is the gap in my character which separates me with my best version, and by identifying it, I was able to solve it. I wouldn't say instantly, of course it required a little bit of work, a little bit of concentration, but it wasn't required from me to meditate, to do all these things. I've just revealed the gap in my character by aligning myself with the best version, by using reverse engineering, by understanding what are the differences that separates me and my best version. Remarkable. I hope that this video was comprehensible. If you have questions, just feel free to ask them. I feel exhausted, by the way. It was a little bit of, it was interesting to film this video, and I feel that I really explained all the information which I knew at this point. I hope it was comprehensible. Please let me know what are your thoughts. Let me know what do you think. If you have questions, let's discuss them. It would be interesting for me to address them. Thank you so much for listening. I have a couple of subscribers on my channel, but if you listened to this moment, till this moment, I feel truly grateful for your attention, and thank you, really thank you for getting to this point of the video. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being with me, and if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me. I hope it was useful. I hope it really was. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.